Hi everyone, and thank you so much for watching my channel, The Witty Turtle. And today we are starting with the revision series of your direct taxation, where today's topic is PGBP, right? Profits and gains of business or profession. So let me make it very clear to you that this is not a proper class or lecture. This is simply a revision series where I'll help you revise your concepts before your examination. And ये ऐसे छोटे छोटे videos रहेंगे. And yes, I'm not going to show you any notes because I have not made any handwritten notes. I'm studying from the books which are provided by the faculty whose classes I had purchased. So those notes are very good. So I have not made my own. और अगर मैं उनके notes दिखाकर आपको पढ़ाने लग जाऊंगी, so that will be like unethical and illegal also. So that's why I'm simply going to help you brush up your existing knowledge so that you can perform well in your examination and साथ ही साथ मेरा भी revision हो जाएगा. So in the chapter PGBP, first we will understand the basic concepts where there are three terms. The first one is your business, the second is your profession, and the third is your vocation. So what is the meaning of business? In your section 2 clause 13, business is defined as any kind of trade, commerce, or manufacturing. If you are indulged in any of these three things, then it is known as a business, right? And what is profession? Profession is not defined in the act, but it says that profession also includes vocation, right? So profession क्या होता है? For example, chartered accountant, lawyers, doctors, architects, all these people who possess an educational qualification through which they help people or they provide certain kinds of services to public, they are known as profession. When it comes to vocation, so vocation includes certain natural abilities. For example, somebody is a cobbler, or somebody is a singer, or somebody is a chef, and like they do not have any educational qualification, but they provide certain services to general public with their natural abilities. So that is known as vocation. But this is not very important because in case of PGBP, business, profession, vocation, all these three categories are taxed at the same rate. So there is no such differences. Now coming to the difference between capital receipt and revenue receipt, right? So revenue receipt is always taxable, right? It is always taxable under this head. But when it comes to capital receipt is is not taxable until and unless it is mentioned in the law, राइट जब तक लॉ में नहीं बोला गया है तब तक कैपिटल रिसीट को आप टैक्सेबल नहीं कर सकते हो. Which means what? Capital receipt is exempt until and unless the law specifies otherwise, right? Now coming to another section, that is your section 115 BBG, right? So this section says what? It says about sale of carbon credit. What is the meaning of carbon credit? We know that chlorofluorocarbon and hydrochlorofluorocarbon, these are some obnoxious gases which are being emitted to the environment, which helps in the ozone depletion. राइट ओजोन लेयर का जो डिप्लीशन होता है उसमें ये चीज़ें हेल्प करती हैं. सो इसीलिए यूएन ने क्या किया, यूनाइटेड नेशंस started giving credit points to those businesses who reduce the emission of these gases into the environment, right? So धीरे धीरे क्या होने लगा कि businesses के पास ये जो carbon credit points है वो जमा होने लगा and they started selling it, right? It is not illegal, but if you sell these carbon credit points, then it will be taxed at a very nominal rate of 10%, right? Under the head PGBP. So what we learned, that on transfer of these carbon credits, the amount which we generally get, that will be taxed at a rate of 10%, right? Now we will understand what is the meaning of gain. जब हम लोग एक P&L बनाते हैं तो उसके क्रेडिट साइड में क्या आता है? क्रेडिट साइड में वी ऑलवेज गेट द इनकम एंड इन द डेबिट साइड वी गेट ऑल द एक्सपेंडिचर्स, और लास्ट में हम नेट प्रॉफिट या नेट लॉस निकालते हैं, राइट? सो दिस नेट प्रॉफिट इज नोन एज योर प्रॉफिट्स और गेन्स, राइट? सो नाउ हाउ डू वी कैलकुलेट दिस नेट प्रॉफिट? टोटल इनकम से हम एक्सपेंडिचर को माइनस करते हैं. सो इन दिस चैप्टर PGBP, the law has specified certain incomes which will be calculated while calculating the entire total income, जो कि आपके क्रेडिट साइड में रहेगा, ठीक है? बाई इनकम में कुछ इनकम्स रहेंगे and those incomes are specified in the section 28 and section 41. Similarly, which all expenditures are allowed in this, like कौन से expenditures को आप income से less कर सकते हो, that is also mentioned in the act, and those sections are specified in section 30 to 37. Section 30 to 37, all the expenditures which are allowed are mentioned here, right? So without any further delay, let's start with the most interesting section, which is the charging section of PGBP, section 28. So सेक्शन 28 में हमें क्या क्या जानना है, ऐसे कौन से इनकम है विच आर चार्जेबल टू टैक्स अंडर पीजीबीपी. सो द फर्स्ट इनकम इज दैट प्रॉफिट्स एंड गेन्स ऑफ एनी बिजनेस और प्रोफेशन विच वाज कैरिड ऑन बाय द एसएससी एट एनी पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम इन द ईयर, राइट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपको ये सीजनल बिजनेस कर रहे हो विच इज विच इज देयर इन द मार्केट ओनली फॉर 3 or 4 months, राइट. सो even if you are not doing it for the entire year, but you are doing it for a specific period of the year, so it will be charged under this section, right. Next, coming to your export business. Export mein there are 3 points. The first one is that if you are getting any cash compensatory support, then that will also be like chargeable under this section. Next is your duty drawback. Duty drawback kya hota hai? Whenever you are paying any kind of GST or customs and you get a refund of that, that is known as your duty drawback. And the last is what? The income which you get on sale of import entitlement license, right. For example, there are certain policies given by the government where they provide import entitlement license to the businessmen or to the business. So you can sell those licenses. Import entitlement licenses can be transferred or can be sold. So whatever income you get on that, that is also chargeable under this head, right. Now coming to another thing which is relevant to your duty drawback wala point, DEPB and DFRC, right. If you get any profit on the transfer of duty entitlement passbook scheme, then that is also taxed under PGBP. Now what is this DEPB? You can either Google it, or अगर आप लोगों ने classes कर रखे हैं, then you already know what is it, right. And the next is what? DFRC, duty free replenishment certificate. If you transfer this and if you generate any profit on transfer of this, then that is also chargeable under your PGBP head. Now coming to another point which includes your gift, benefit or any kind of perquisite which you derive out of your business or profession, right. For example, आप CMA बन गए हो, आप किसी का कॉस्ट ऑडिट करने गए एंड वहाँ पे उन्होंने आपने उनकी हेल्प करी, ठीक है, सब कुछ अच्छे से करने में हेल्प करी, एंड आउट ऑफ दैट हेल्प उन्होंने आपको कोई गिफ्ट दिया, ठीक है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल ये रिंग दिया, देन दिस रिंग will also be charged under PGBP because this ring was given to you in connection to your profession. So this will also be charged under your PGBP head. Now coming to the next point, and this point says that income derived out of any trade, professional or any similar association of people who provide a certain specific services to its own members, right. For example, कोई club हो गया and you are a member of that club and they are helping you in providing services. For example, you're getting married and that particular club is arranging every function, right, and in return you are providing them with certain amount of money, then that profit will also be charged under PGBP. Now coming to the next point, which includes that in a partnership firm, the partners receive many kinds of remunerations like your interest, salary, commissions, profit on their capital, bonus. So all these things are chargeable under this head to the partner, right, in hands of the partner, only if the deduction of these things are claimed by the partnership firm. अगर partnership firm ने इस पे टैक्स दे दिया है या इस पे डिडक्शन क्लेम नहीं किया है, राइट, सो ये पार्टनर के हाथ में एग्जेम्प्ट हो जाएगा. बट अगर पार्टनरशिप फर्म ने इस पे डिडक्शन लिया है और टैक्स नहीं दिया है, देन इट विल बी टैक्स्ड अंडर taxed in the hands of the partner, right. Now coming to the next point, which is your non-compete fees, right. Non-compete fees का मतलब क्या होता है? The amount of compensation which you pay to a certain certain businessman or a professional to not carry out a certain thing. फॉर एग्जाम्पल ये इंटीरियर जिसने करवाया है, अगर मैंने उनको सर्टन पैसे दे के बिठा दिया कि नहीं ऐसा वाला इंटीरियर आप और किसी का नहीं करोगे, देन दैट इज नोन एज व्हाट, दैट इज नोन एज नॉन compete fees, right? And this non-compete fee has another sub point also, which includes that not sharing any kind of know-how, patent, copyright, or any what do you call that, ट्रेडमार्क, लाइसेंस और फ्रेंचाइजी बिजनेस विथ एनी अदर, जो कि आपने किसी को दिया हुआ है, ठीक है। मैंने फॉर एग्जांपल एक सोल्यूशन बना के दिया है किसी कंपनी को, तो वो कंपनी मुझे कुछ अमाउंट देगा कि नहीं ये जो सोल्यूशन आपने हमें बना के दिया है, ये सोल्यूशन आप किसी और के साथ शेयर नहीं करोगे। सो दिस इज ऑल्सो नोन एज योर नॉन compete fees, एंड दिस नॉन compete fees is also chargeable under the head PGBP. So the next point is very important because it includes key man insurance policy. What is key man insurance policy or KIP? For example, in any business there is a head person, there is a key person जिसके बिना business नहीं चल सकता है. For example, Shadi.com cannot run without Anupam Mittal, right? Because he is the founder and CEO. Similarly, फॉर एवरी बिजनेस देर इज अ की पर्सन. सो कभी कभी क्या होता है ना, कंपनी जो है वो की पर्सन के नाम पे एक इंश्योरेंस करता है, सो दैट इफ एनीथिंग हैपन्स टू दैट की पर्सन और इफ दैट की पर्सन रिजाइन्स फ्रॉम द बिजनेस, देन ऑब्वियसली द बिजनेस हैज टू सफर सम लॉस. सो टू रिकवर दैट लॉस, the business has to provide an insurance in the name of that particular person. That is known as your key man insurance policy. So if any sum is received under key man insurance policy by the company, right, by the company, then it will be taxable under the head PGBP. If it is received by अनुपम मित्तल, यानी कि जो उनके क्या बोलते हैं फाउंडर हैं, जिनके साथ एम्प्लॉयर एम्प्लॉय रिलेशनशिप नहीं है, कि then that sum will be taxable under the head IFOS, income from other sources. But if that key person is an employee and that sum is received by that employee, then it will be taxable under the head salary, right? Now coming to the next topic, that is if your stock in trade is being converted into capital asset, right? So the fair market value of that particular asset on the date of conversion will be treated as your income from PGBP, right? This is very clear. Now the next point says, for example, there was a capital asset for which you had earlier claimed 35 AD, deduction under 35 AD, ठीक है, उसमें आपने उसमें 100% डिडक्शन ले लिया है 35 AD में, and now that particular capital asset is being demolished or destroyed or discarded. So in that case also what happens, any sum which is received or receivable either cash or in kind, that will also be taxed under your PGBP head. Now the next point says that you have certain business contracts with different people, right? For example, the other party is terminating the business contract or providing any modification in the terms and conditions of that particular business contract. Then in that case, if he is paying you certain compensation against that modification or termination, then that amount will also be taxable under the head PGBP, right? So अभी तक हम लोगों ने जितना जितना पढ़ा उसको आप लोग एक बार फिर से ये वीडियो को फास्ट फॉरवर्ड में प्ले करके देख लेना, वो एक और बार रिविजन हो जाएगा. I hope this video was very helpful to you, and if you find this video useful, then please hit the bell icon and subscribe to my channel, The Witty Turtle. Also like the video and share this video with your CA Final and CMA Final friends.